There we go. Hi everyone. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Now this is more cleanup of the motor, except for this is actually important stuff, not what I was doing before. Because this is cleaning the gasket surfaces, so I can shove the intake on here, which the intake is all dressed up and ready to go. To be honest, on here, I did that earlier, so it looks freaking killer. Yeah, so it's just all the grunt here. But this stuff is just annoying, to be honest. I was just making sure everything is clean so that nothing leaks and all that. And it's one thing if you're doing a small thing like thermostat housing or whatever else like that, making sure it's clean. That's simple. These are heads. Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. It's just making sure that in here is just about spotless. So I also have, so that chunks don't fall in, I do have this sheet here. So yeah, it is a little very time consuming with this. So I figured he might go live, and Keith decided he was gonna go have dinner because he can't just come out here and be nice and and just forego dinner and just help me stab this motor in. I'm just teasing them. Totally fine with him doing that. Clearly, I was just hoping to be out of here by now, except for motor's still not in yet. Like, this car will be running by midnight. That's my guess. So, with how slow things are going right now. Because this is, how many hours have I been working on this damn thing? So with the total build so far, let's see, it's now 7 o'clock. Before, I was probably, I'm really a good 20 hours on this freaking thing. It's just, ugh. But just making sure it's all clean, or at least clean enough to do this. Oh, isn't that fun? Yeah, that's why I don't like modern stuff like that. This stuff is just so much simpler. Nice old 302. Nothing is just stupid or anything like that. It's all quite convenient. That side is almost done, actually. It's pretty close. It just needs a couple little passes with the razor blade. And then just a little bit of cleanup with the sponge. And now there's no soap or water with the sponge, it's just a sponge. That's pretty close. Needs a little more. Now bear in mind, this engine has been sitting for a few years, so I'm already fully anticipating that I need to change the oil in it. Like we're gonna, actually I should just throw oil in. No, not yet. Throw oil in it when it's in the car. It's all pretty good though overall. Just dotting my I's and crossing my T's. I just want to make sure that I did not miss a comment here. Oh, there we go. Like, yeah, see, and that's why I like the advantageous thing of carburation, because there's nothing that's stupid on a carburetor. It's all relatively simple. Your average sort of person can do it, not a big deal. On the newer stuff, you almost have to have a degree in freaking engineering. With it. And yeah, it is nice to be able to work in a shop. It's not a very big shop. This is actually very small, but it's nice to have a shop with a lift and stuff like that. That makes this job so much easier. And I'm glad we're actually getting good connection, because I tried one of these earlier and it was so spotty. Yeah, getting very close though. To be able to put the gasket on here. Because it just takes time. Like, this is probably going to take me a good half hour total. Like, honestly, you're seeing my full progress as I'm doing this, which you can't really see too much of what I'm doing, obviously, but I'll show you by the end of this of what it's going to look like, or what it does look like. And I'll also, for any of the chunks that fall into the intake runners or whatever else like that, I am just going to grab the vacuum and just suck it out. So it's not the end of the world. Like, I'm trying to do this as properly as I can, because yeah, I could do this down and dirty, but I don't want any issues. I don't want to have to pull the intake back off again. So after all this, it's getting close though. And like, and to be honest, like, well, this isn't my shop, like I mentioned. So I haven't done any body work or paint in here. Like, this is not my shop. This is my buddy's shop. So, yeah, but it's not really, I mean, you could paint a vehicle in here, which, I mean, who knows? Maybe I might paint a vehicle in here, but, like, I wish this was my shop. I wish. But it's not. However, this shop, like, I have access to it whenever I want. And which is kind of convenient because, you know, just having access to a lift for activities, because as well, like, I have so many parts, actually. Like, I have a few parts just lying around in here from this. Also, some of it's for this, some of it's not. Like, the T5 tranny, for example, that's not for this. That's for my notch back side. I have a 7.5 limited slip over here. That has 273 gearing, but it came with 373s. I just need to clean up the gears a bit. And then find somebody, because the one thing is, I want to screw things up. I've never taken a rear end apart. Might see if I can get my buddy Roy to help me out with that. Just get him out here and... Yeah, because like the one thing is, like, I have been here since about noon. It is now 7, and I'm still going. Like, and the thing is, at home, I don't even have a garage. I literally just have a gravel driveway. That is it. So, yeah, like, I wish I had a shop at home, but I don't. Like, this is, for here, this is 2.5 hours away. So it is a bit of a pain to come up here. But, you know, I mean, like, today's been a pretty good day overall. We've gotten quite a bit done, because obviously, motor's out. Because wanted to have the motor out last night, but that didn't happen. And then I was able to get the last bolt out for the bell housing. And yeah, when I got here, like, it only took me about 20 minutes to finally get that out. Finally, I was just like, okay. So, and then the one thing that happened though is torque converter bolts. They did not want to come out the way we wanted them to. Because, to be honest, we got the nuts off the torque converter bolts, but they could not get it actually loose from that. So it actually, the torque converter went with the motor and made a huge mess. There's so much freaking oil dry on the floor that, yeah. He bought 2 bags the other day, and I think we used a full bag on this. I'm still not even fully done yet, because still we have to move this thing out of the way to fix the rest of that on the floor, all that ATF. So yeah, unfortunately, stuff like that just happens. Was not intentional at all, but yeah, so this is cleaning up pretty good so far. Like, it's coming along. But like, the thing is, this 302 is a it's out of an 88 T-Bird. I haven't run the numbers on it because they're just covered in grease, and I'm not gonna delve into it. I know that this is, I don't know if it's a high output motor. No idea on that. We'll figure that out when we go to time it, because it'll run like without like, if it has the wrong firing order actually between the high output and the non, it will run, but it won't run like supreme. If it's, you know, and we'll figure that out when we go to stab it in, because again, it's out of an 88 T-Bird. automatic car, so. Come on, almost there. Yeah, could I technically, if I really wanted to, just to get this thing down the road, could I just shove a bunch of RTV in here and put the intake on? Sure. You know, with the gaskets and all that, but I'm not doing that. Okay, some of that is just burnt on, and there's nothing I can do about that, okay? And I'm making sure I'm not leaving any ridges, because like the one thing is when you're doing this, you want to be careful not to damage it. Ah, okay. See, the one thing is, well, here, actually, I will grab what my setup's going to be. Really quick here. Oh. Because what I have here is a vintage Cobra intake. Like, this is a legit Shelby aftermarket intake from the 60s. So obviously that's on the wrong way, but you know, it doesn't clash with anything at all, and it looks really good. So big fan, to be honest, of this intake. I did have an Edelbrock Performer 289 intake, but just I picked this up and I'm like, ooh, I really like that, and I didn't pay a lot of money for this. So like I stole this pretty much. So for the price I got. Alright, just put this back, and I'll get back to cleaning up that gasket for y'all. There we go. You know, the funny thing is, I cleaned my hands like 4 times today, and of course they're dirty again because, you know, I'm working. And I mean, I'm fine with having dirty hands, but once this is cleaned up, all we have to remember is to clock the torque converter the correct way. And then, once the torque converter's in, then we can stab the motor in. And I picked up a bunch of ATF, I picked up some oil, so we can put oil in this, because this was drained out fully. Yeah, it's just about there. Like, let's grab the sponge here, actually, and like, this is actually a little bit of an abrasive sponge, oddly enough, so it's, think about this almost like sandpaper, but a little less aggressive. So it's not really, it's just taking the surface off, right? There we go. Ah. Frick. There we go. And we're not running these valve covers on it either. These are just stock T-bird valve covers that were for an injected setup. They're not as tall. I have those finned ones. It'll look really freaking good on here too. And then for a carburetor, it's the same carb I had before, which is a Holley 600 CFM Pro. So that'll go good. Actually, let me move that. There we go. So I can actually see a little better when stuff pops up. But you know, it's slow going, to be honest. Like, this isn't a fast process by any stretch of the imagination. Like swapping a motor, oh, don't get me wrong. If you have all new components and nothing goes wrong, sure, you can swap a motor in about 3 hours. But we had some major hiccups along the way. Well, thank you there, Brent. To be honest, like, I love cars, I love engines and whatever else, but, and I love working on them too. Hey, you should have saw me, how dirty I was going back to the hotel last night. Because I roll in at like 11 o'clock, my pants are all so damn dirty. Well, unfortunately for you, this woman is lesbian. There should be like a rainbow going over my head and saying, I'm gay. Oh, fuck. Like, I mean, there was this comment, and I mean, I get where the guy was coming from, but it was weird. Because I posted, actually here on YouTube, I posted a thing of, basically a kind of, a sneak preview of how this is going to look. Now, I had the carburetor on the intake, I had the intake, I had the valve covers. I didn't have any of the accessory drive or anything like that, but... Well, thank you. And actually something cool that happened today, because this morning I went to Denny's for breakfast. Right, I was like, you know what, I just want some pancakes. So, it is not a GT40 302, no. This is definitely a, this is an E7 head from an 88 T-Bird, so. That's okay. I am totally comfortable with running this. Because, yeah, it's fine. Like, now, because I'm debating. Okay, I have the stock headers, which are not amazing headers, but they're actually not bad. They do have scavenging from the factory, whatever else. But then I have the BBK shorties, except for they are equal length headers. And I don't know which one I want to run, because, like, okay, the stock headers will be fine. I won't have any interference with anything, and they'll be nice. But those BBKs, because they're equal length, will give me a bit of a headache, to be honest. Which actually, so I can actually check on this side how it's going to be with the, let me do that really quick. Because I do want to check something, and yes, I'm away from the phone for a second here. Because yeah, like this is the this is this side. So let's just see. Okay. Oh, I see what you mean. I see what people mean about, like, they hug the block and everything, and it's actually not bad for changing spark plugs. I might just run these because really, these headers, like, they're in great shape and everything. They're a little surface rusty, but other than that, you know, I have wet sanded these down before. I do want to wrap them eventually, but yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, these, like, will they add a little bit of power? Yes. However, like, are they super superior to the stock headers? Not really. Like, these don't really have, you know, the dents and whatever else that one has. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go with these because I do have boot protectors so that I do not, you know, have any issues with spark plugs. And yeah, these will look good. These will look really good actually. So that's one of the reasons why I got them. Is not just for the performance aspect, because yes, they will provide a little bit of a performance, but the collector gasket, which, to be fair, I don't have one of those. But yeah, I don't know if I've ever had a collector gasket, to be honest, because there wasn't one on this, and yet it did not leak with the factory manifolds without a collector gasket. So there's that. Yeah, so the only thing, like, if you just have it really tight, to be honest, that usually works. They do. They are identical to the stock header that way. Right? So, you know, you can see the scavenging that it does, whatever else. Like, the stock headers that I have, which, where did we put those? I think they're over there. Because let me go grab those. Just for comparison difference. Because, for reference, and they're actually about the same weight, which is interesting. Like, those are a little heavier, but not that much. Not currently. Maybe in the future, but not right now. So these are the stock headers, right? And they're are fine. Like, they actually do have scavenging in them. If you take a look, there is actual proper scavenging in these stock headers. But they just don't look very good, you know? Like, I think... Yeah, that's the passenger side. Yeah, just rusty and dented and stuff. Yeah, definitely go with the other ones, the BBKs. They just totally match what I'm doing, so. Everyone, like, I would love to have a cam and everything thrown in here, but for now we're just going stock. I don't even know the mileage of this motor, but we know it's a good motor. Like, the thing is, Keith, when he pulled this out of such a junker of a T-Bird, but it ran amazing, just everything else was wrong, and it was like rusty as all hell and everywhere else. And he did a compression test on the motor too, and it was good, even after he pulled it, so. Yeah, this is a good motor. And to be honest, it'll make more power than what that stock 302 had. Because that had E6 heads. Yeah. E7 heads, even though they're not amazing flowing, they're way better than E6 heads. You know, like, put it this way. The 205-ish horsepower that this thing had, these are going to have 225. So, now with the carburation, it might be a little more than that. Yeah, and I mean, like, and the engine that we were going to put in this thing, I think had E6 heads as well. But then, because my little prissy self wanted this right here, which is air conditioning, back on the car. Because one thing, if this car was not originally air conditioning, I wouldn't bother. But it was originally air conditioning, and all the components, besides the compressor and the lines, were still there. So I'm like, it's not very hard to put it back in. You know, we'll just... You know, he had this motor lying around from the T-Bird, so. Oh, exactly. And the thing is, there's some people that say, oh yeah, just drop the top, whatever else like that. It's just like, no. I promise you, on a very hot day, you don't actually want the top down. It gets a lot worse inside. A lot worse. So, the only thing that's nice, as long as you are, like, you have the AC on and top down, it's perfect. Oh, see, the thing is, where I live, every once in a blue moon, it'll get to about 95-ish. Because I don't know the conversion exactly, but I know it's right around there, degrees. But in the winter time, we also experience minus 40 because welcome to Canada. So, yeah. I have experience, and that's the one thing, not a lot of people can actually say this. I have felt plus 40 degrees Celsius, which again, that's right around plus 95, give or take, and minus 40 within the same year. Oh shit, I do not want to gash that. Okay, I didn't. Good. So, yeah, I mean, and that's one thing that people don't realize. Canada is one of the harshest climates because of that. Like, especially here in Alberta. You know, you'll have the stupid hot days and you'll have the stupid cold days too. Well, see, okay. That isn't a big jump, don't get me wrong, but that's nothing. Like, to be honest. Because the one thing is, it's kind of funny. Just the other day, now, it wasn't super cold actually with this, but on Mother's Day, if you haven't seen that video, actually, you should go check out the video I did that day because it's a car show video, and it was actually a car and plane show. So it's pretty interesting. That was held in Sundre on Mother's Day, and the thing is, all nice and sunny. You know, I probably could have had the top down on the convertible. But by about 6 o'clock at night, it was pouring so much snow down that there was there's about that much snow. or take. On this thing, it was about 5 or 6 inches just within a few hours. And it all melted just about all melted by the morning, but like, frick. So with any luck though, that's the last blast of winter. We're done. Yeah. You know, I'm Canadian, we're built different. You see, when Keith is done eating, you know, he's at about half an hour, and I'm going to say probably closer to an hour for him because he's just like that. I mean, do it. It's honestly, Canada is such a beautiful place. Like, and the one thing is, you have such differences of, like, okay, you go out east in Canada, you have a lot more history there. There are some beautiful sites and whatever else, like depending on where you are. And the people are quite diverse. You come out here to Alberta and you get these beautiful plains, you know, lots of sort of forest and whatever else too when you go further north. And then BC, you have both the forest, the mountains, and the ocean right there, right? So it's pretty neat actually. Like, don't get me wrong, BC is similar to Colorado that way, but except for Colorado isn't on the ocean. However, it's similar. Like where I am in Alberta, because Alberta is just, it's not really coming up. No, he was not in Calgary actually. I do know of Dave's farm. He was actually in Ontario. But the one thing is, and one of the reasons why he doesn't have a channel anymore, well, the guy was a pedophile. Full-on pedo, apparently. Like, he got arrested and everything for it because they found pictures on his computer and whatnot, so it's just, yeah, unfortunately, this guy that I really loved as a kid, I absolutely despise as an adult. It is. It very much is. Like, you know, and there was hundreds of people that went to his property. Because the one thing is, what was cool about Dave's farm is you could go there, sign a waiver, and just drive cars around his property, jump them, whatever. It was fun. But just, yeah, and with insurance issues nowadays, like, nobody could ever do that again. Because believe me, I would absolutely love to do that, you know? Just have people sign a waiver or whatever else and make sure the insurance is good and everything. And they can go jump cars or whatever else, you know, and have like paramedics on standby sort of thing and just making sure that everybody's okay. You know, but I don't really have the money, I don't have the land for that. You know, it's one of those deals. Okay, this gasket surface should be just about ready, I think. Let me just double check. See, I do not like that mounting surface right there. It's a little rough. But luckily, with the gasket, we'll take care of some of that. But there's a couple of gouges in there. Yeah, see, and I wish I had any sort of land, but like I live in a trailer, you know, it's living in a trailer park. It's not exactly spacious. So that's kind of the nice thing about coming up here and like staying in hotels and stuff like that. Like I get a nicer bed than when I stay in at home. I get to, you know, go work on my cars and see friends and whatnot that live up here. And because I have a few, to be honest. Like there's a couple people that I want to see while I'm up here, but it's not going to happen this time. I love Canada. Like, you know, the thing is, because there's Americans that will say, oh yeah, America's the best country on earth. Well, I mean, there's some cool aspects about the States, don't get me wrong, that I like. And some of it's very similar to Canada. But I mean, we have like social programs such as universal healthcare. Well, mostly universal healthcare. There's some variances on that. But for the most part, like for example, if you break your arm, that's fully covered. If you need an ambulance though, that's gonna cost you a lot of money. But yeah. Oh, to be honest, the States has been in like sort of having issues for quite a number of years. Like you can even go back, even though I didn't mind the Obama administration, I won't lie. Just because, he kind of cared about human rights issues and whatnot. Actually every president since really hasn't touched on that. It's the one thing I like about him. Because, like, the thing is, I like Obama as a human being, right? That's the difference. As a politician, I didn't mind him, but there are some things, obviously, he could have did better. But here's the thing. I am not a politician. Oh, okay. Can I get that crap out of there? There we go. There we go. Sorry if I missed a message here. Oh, there we go. Because that's the interesting part. Because, okay, in Canada, we learn a lot about a bunch of different countries. Like, the States, because you guys are our closest sort of ally and whatnot, we learn a lot about you. And there was actually a show back in the day. You can find a clip on YouTube. It's freaking hilarious. That it's basically the dumbest Canadian is smarter than the smartest American. And what they did, honestly, it was a bit of a joke, but it kind of proved the point, though, of how little the Americans actually know about outside of their own country. So what they did was I can't remember what the show was called, but they took two random people from the stands. One happened to be actually, I think he was a graduate of like Harvard or something like that in the States, right? American, knew all of the stuff, whatever else. And then they took a guy actually from Canada that was a high school dropout, right? And they started quizzing each of them on, for example, like what's the capital of Canada? What's the capital of the United States? How many states there are? How many provinces there are? How many territories are there in Canada? Stuff like that, right? And yeah, the Canadian got all of those right. The American, I think, got like one or two of those right. It's just hilarious. Because you guys don't learn anything other than your own history, and that history is a little skewed. Some of it is. See, that's interesting. I hear about that, of people saying, hey, a Canadian accent, but I don't really hear a difference between, say, my voice and somebody from the States. Because they're so similar, right? There is certainly different dialects across Canada. Yes, there is. Like, you go into Newfoundland, for example, that's your stereotypical Canadian accent, right? Where you can barely understand a word they're saying and whatever else. Right? That's Newfoundland in a nutshell. For not totally like that, but they definitely, some of them live up to the stereotype for sure. Look, it's getting close. That's fair. I mean, and I have had people, for example, too, say they really love my voice because it's like soothing or relaxing to them, and I've never really heard that. But hey, to each their own. You know what? And people like my voice. Okay, cool. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Donate some money. Rick, have fun here. Because I've heard it a few times. Ah, okay, about a week. Cool. Well, hey, I definitely appreciate you subscribing to the channel, and you've seen 3 of you subscribe. See, now what's funny is a lot of my channel is not actually about this car. It's just been lately. And the thing is, most of my channel has been on my inline 6 box bottom, which I've grown my entire channel from that car, and now I'm expanding it with this car back, right? So, and somebody's so far behind that, you know, talking about the politics thing, it's like, dude, we already moved past that like 5 minutes ago. Oh, there we go. Finally got that piece of the gasket off. Frick, that took forever. Yay! Okay. I am pretty close. There's just a little... There are little pieces left. There is some sort of gouging in this intake, though, that I don't like. But the gasket will adhere to that. That's fine. Ah! See, now, actually... because that carb, I guess did I combine that video? I may have, I'm not sure. I did a few videos on that, so, and honestly, like, I have over 400 uploads. I don't even remember everything I've uploaded. Like, I'm actually encroaching on 500 uploads, too, so. Like, I think I'm at, like, 462 or 470, something like that. No, there's a ridge there. See, and that's the one thing. Yeah, and for the most part, like there's a couple minor little gouges in here. They're not bad though. Like it's not perfectly smooth, but we can make that work, to be honest. Like one thing is, if we put on some sealants around that area, and like we'll probably put it like just around sort of the border, not like an RTV, like an actual proper sealant, right? Because RTV is terrible. Don't ever use RTV. There's this stuff that you can get in a little bottle that's a very nice sealer that you can just, it has a brush and you can just brush it onto your surfaces and it's fantastic. And there's no excess. So I can't remember what it's called. Like I think Permatex makes it, but I don't know for sure. Oh, nice. And on the radio in the background, I can hear some Bon Jovi. You'll smile. What'd you say? You promised me heaven. You put me through hell. Chains of love got a hold on me. Is the weapon you can't break free. No. I love Bon Jovi. Oh, hang on. I got a long comment here. I mean, don't get me wrong. If the states adopted some of Canada's practices, it'd be a lot better country. Like, you know, if they did the whole thing of, hey, that universal health care, and, you know, like, your taxes would go up a bit, but like, taxes here in Alberta really aren't that bad. Like, across the country, yes, they are. Like, but Alberta, we only have the federal tax, which is 5%. That's it. You know, in other provinces, they have provincial tax on top of that tax, which in some provinces is over 20%. It's ridiculous. You know, here it's only 5%, so it's not so bad. We also have a nice system called, being able to recycle our bottles and our, bottles and cans and stuff, and water bottles and whatnot. So, see, that's just horrible. Like, it's one thing I don't like about the states that way. Like, they need to figure out something, because, and the fact that, like, to have a baby costs like 10 grand or something stupid like that, that's what I heard. I'm like, pardon? Like up here, that is fully covered. Like if you have to take an ambulance, you'll pay for that, which is probably gonna be like $1,000. But other than that, you know, yeah, like that's just ridiculous that you have to pay for that. Because I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm sure it curbs some drunken stupidity, but I've seen so much drunken stupidity from the States, so there's that. I love little razor blades, these are fun. Oh, there's a little bit here too. That's a little bit of a minor gouging in this head, but not horrible. Like this is tolerable gouging that I'm feeling. So, to be fair, this is not originally a V8 car. This was a 3.8 car. So there's that. Now, and I had an opportunity, and I kind of kicked myself, but at the same time I don't, because I'm not sure if it would have even made it home. A few months ago, before I bought this, I checked out a 1984, I believe it was. Maybe 83, I can't remember. Actually, no, it wasn't 84. Convertible, stick, 5-liter car that had some really weird options on it. Like, okay, yeah, power top, but didn't actually work, so that's one of the things that drew me away from the car. But then as well, like, that 5-liter seemed pretty rough. Like, that thing, when I started it up, oh, frick, it shook bad. But then, interestingly, a convertible usually is fairly loaded. This one wasn't. It had an AM/FM radio, power steering, power brakes, manual windows, manual locks. Very bizarre to see it that way, because usually convertibles are loaded. I've never seen a convertible without power windows and a Fox body. I've only ever seen them with power windows and a Fox body. So, see now, okay, that is smooth, yeah. A little bit of a ridge there, though. Oh, God. I'm pretty close. I mean, I think he might be satisfied when he comes out here. Because, yeah, it's one thing, like, you're doing this yourself and you're pretty sure you have everything good, but you always want to double check with somebody if you can. Because just in case you miss something totally obvious that they see. But I think he'll be pretty satisfied with that when he comes back in here. Oh, cool. That's very cool. Yeah, because it would be cool to, bore this thing out to a 306, put on different heads, give it a cam, put it to around 350 horsepower would be awesome, but, I'm not in the market for that, unfortunately, at the moment. I would love to do that, but I don't really have the money. If anybody wants to, donate some trick flow heads or something like that, that'd be cool. But we're gonna do head gaskets, you just need to, somebody just needs to donate some cool heads for those head gaskets. And the one thing is that I figured out, I'm pretty sure, and it's weird, because it was not mixing with the oil in the oil pan, but I think the head gaskets were gone in that motor that we pulled out, which I think he probably put in the scrap pile over there. So I'm not gonna go out there, it's a little chilly, which, speaking of cold, can that freaking furnace get back in place? I mean, it's trying to, but I need to make it a little hotter. There. Oh, nice! I mean, I'd love those heads. I'm just not sure if I can afford them. Because it's the shipping and whatever else too, right? That gets muddled up. only shipping. I could be interested in those, definitely. Now, are they like nice heads, or do they need to be rebuilt? Because either way, I might just go for them anyway. Oh, they have the bigger spring. Okay, so they're complete and everything. Cool. I would definitely be interested in that. Do you have a Instagram by chance? And could you message me, or do you even have Facebook? And maybe we can, figure something out with that. Because I would love those heads, to be honest. Like, they would go on this motor. In the future. Like, it wouldn't be right away, because Cool. Can you message my Instagram, which is katarinas.garage, and then just let me know who you are, and we can, figure something out with those heads. That would be freaking amazing. There you go. It was worth it going live today. Yay! That is freaking awesome. I've been live for 42 minutes already. Holy crap. Or 46 minutes. Wow. Hasn't felt like that long. Although, my feet are getting tired. I might have to sit down. I've been on my feet all freaking day. I haven't really had much of a break. You know, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a little bit of a break here. Clean up the motor. And just sit down. Oh yeah, you can see. Hey, look, it looks like I have a mustache. Oh, fun times. Very fun times. Oh. You know, that's what happens though when you start rubbing your face and stuff. Let's just point that down. There we go. Move that. Move my coat a little bit. Oh, I am so tired. Like, I might just get another hotel room tonight and come back tomorrow. And go home tomorrow, because like this is just exhausting to me. This is the one thing about me. And like, cause I mean, I'm not in the best of shape, don't get me wrong. I'm in okay shape, but yes, actually. So the one thing is, Canadian Cobra Mustangs prior to '93 were actually a thing, 100%. Like, I have literature, and I've seen them dating back to, I think 1982 is when the Cobra started. Now, all it was, there was nothing special about them. It was just an up badge, literally on a GT. There was nothing special about the Cobra, other than, hey look, it's a Canadian Cobra. But a lot of GTs from Canada were Cobras, especially the early ones. So it's not really anything special that way. And like, a lot of Americans will argue, hey, that's different, or like, it's not real. They actually are. And for the most part, the VIN does not tell you that. It doesn't run off the VIN that way. It's, at least I don't think so. It might, but I don't think it does. And actually, I want to check. Oh. Oh, my buddy Keith, who's inside, actually, he sent me a text message like about 10 minutes into this live stream. And I just checked it now, and literally it's a guitar pic that says dick, so he sent me a dick pic. That's too funny. Ooh, good song, Metallica. Interesting. But you know, like, and all of this, because you know, like, literally, in the past 2 days, I have worked approximately 20 hours just on this swap alone. So, like, we started this yesterday, and still going. Although, like I said, this engine will run tonight. I should be able to drive it, but I ain't driving it home. There's no way. I'm too tired already for that. Like, I'll go home tomorrow, I think. Yeah. Which I was hoping to go home today, but that's okay. Well, see, that's interesting, because people say, oh yeah, you can get a motor swap done in like 3 hours. Yeah, if nothing breaks on you, you have everything new and everything is clean, right? If you get a crate motor and you don't snap any bolts coming out, sure, 3 hours is definitely doable. But, you know, I'm close to 20 hours. I think I'm at least 20 hours into this now. It's just, oh, frick. Like, I wish, and actually, I should turn down that radio more. You know, I love the song, but I just don't want the camera to pick that up because, you know, I will want to monetize this video after the fact because, you know, I need the money from this stuff, to be honest. Like, I'm doing this because I want to, yeah, but the money helps. It definitely does. So, oh, God, I could just fall asleep right now because it's that tiring doing all this. And, like, to be honest, like, I hope so, to be honest. There is a video that I have planned that might explode the channel because of the vehicle in question of what it is. So the vehicle that I might, well, actually, I will get the film as long as it doesn't sell by then. And to be honest, like, the guy's gonna let me know when he's back, and I will immediately come up. I don't care if I'm broke. Oh, I don't care about that. There's actually some, but to be honest, we're usually not on YouTube. There's, like, I'm part of a few actually female-only Mustang groups, and some of them are building Fox bodies, they just don't have YouTube channels, right? And now, and the one thing is, and if they do, most people in general don't put themselves out there when it comes to, like, when it comes to advertising their channel. Because the thing is, with me, I put in a ton of work to promote this channel. You know, every single video I will share everywhere that I can. There is, you know, no space left untouched for that. Yeah. Oh, frick. Oh, because, like, every video that I put out, I share. Now, if it happens to be a Mustang video, and especially the Fox bodies, I share it in approximately like 120, 130 groups in a day. Now, and I get a spam blocker for that too, actually, after about the first 50 or so. And then I get another spam block after about 70. And then I have to wait, you know, a total of like 5 hours, and then I can start again and do the rest of it, right? Like, it takes a long time. And that's the one thing, like, the Fox bodies are starting to explode in value and popularity. But, and the only reason why is because the people who liked them as a kid back in the 80s now have the money to go buy them, so it's driving up the market exponentially. Like, I'm sure, okay, after the swapping this motor in and having the AC, whatever else, if I put a new dash pad on the car, put a new top on it, I fix the rust, this car in 5 years could probably be worth 25, 30 grand. Like, because they're just going that stupid. Because people never used to care about convertibles. You know, could give a crap about the convertible Fox bodies. But now they're starting to be looked at too, because the notchbacks have gotten way too stupid, and the hatchbacks are starting to as well. So the convertibles was left, right? So yeah, like, I've had so many people actually, after it broke down on the side of the highway, yeah, I had, I think, 6 different people ask me if I wanted to sell it. And I'm like, no, I don't. Like, or what would I take for it? And, like, I'm not throwing out a number. If somebody gave, like, just offered me the right amount of money, and I don't even know what that right amount of money is, I would sell the car potentially. Even though I have an emotional attachment to this car and everything. But, you know, it's not like my dream car. Like, I like this car. It's fun. You know, and I have, even though not very many good memories, I do have good memories in this car. Because this thing's been a freaking curse since I got it. You know, because this was originally a 3.8 car. And the 3.8 in it was CFI. And the problem is the CFI systems were dreadful. They were absolutely terrible. And so the thing is, what happened was the fuel pressure regulator decided I'm not going to regulate fuel properly, and literally just went, okay, bye, and put too much fuel um in the motor, which should have hydrolocked it, but it didn't. What it actually did was, because the piston rings were not great, like it did burn a little bit of oil. Over time, it dumped fuel down into the oil pan and just wiped out the bearings. By the end of my tenure with that car, which I didn't even own the car for a year, initially, is like I put on I think 5,000 kilometers on the car, and yeah. Like, I would love to do a Bara swap on that car. That would be incredible, but it's finding a Bara that I can actually afford and then figuring out the engineering behind it. You know, it's a little difficult for me. Oof. That's always fun, betting a rod. Like, I thought when this thing blew up the other day that I thought that it punched a hole in the piston and it through the block, and it didn't. It would have made for more fantastic YouTube, but it sadly did not do that. However, because technically that motor still runs, but I think it's got blown head gaskets in it too. Because there was oil mixed with coolant, but weirdly, there wasn't milkshake in the oil pan. So bizarre, because there should have been. You would have thought, but no. Now, it's possible because it kind of looked like the intake gaskets may have been a little... Okay, he just sent me another text message. Okay, no, God damn it. In fact, he sent that to me. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm thinking, because, like, I have the old intake here, right? You don't see much on this end at all. But you can kind of see, and also, look how dirty that coolant passage is right there. You can just see it all around there. It's just, oh, that's horrible. Well, thank you. I mean, to be honest, this motor is way better than the one that I had. So, you know, there's that. And the one thing is, you can kind of see, well, even that little surface right there, really close up, you can see that coolant on there. Because this is the old intake off the car, right? I think that's where it blew. So, and even looking at the other motor's outside. I'm not going outside, it's too cold. But yeah, and this is an Edelbrock 289. There's nothing wrong with this intake, but the Cobra one's coolant. So, it looks like coolant, feels like coolant, smells like coolant. It probably tastes like coolant because it is coolant. So that was causing issues, but also it had bad piston rings in it too. So it's just, screw it. Go with the other motor that we know works, that's good. Now, although I haven't put a socket on it to make sure it still turns over, but it definitely does. And I'm not going to rebuild that motor. What I might just do is pull it back in the shop here, list it online if somebody wants a good core, because it is actually a good core. The block is in great shape. The heads are junk because they're E6 heads, and the pistons are they're flat top pistons, no valve reliefs, so you can't even put a good cam in that motor without changing out the pistons. Because even like an E303 one is, you know, because the one thing is, I sell that, I sell this intake, you know, I'm going to be at a decent amount of money when it's all said and done for that, and that'll offset the costs of this whole trip and whatever else too. That's why I was considering not running the BBKs. But the one thing is that I do have, actually, and I want to grab those real quick, is because for those BBKs, where are those? There they are. Because, okay, so the BBK, Because I know the BBKs, they will cook your plug wires. Absolutely, if you don't do anything about it. So, I've actually got the good boots on here, because these are the titanium boots, right? So this is actually lined with titanium. So, yeah. That's not bad actually, 240 horsepower. Like the problem is though, if I'm gonna do a swap, like if I'm gonna do a bar swap, I'm gonna want more than 240 horsepower. That's just me. Because it's gonna cost a lot of money, and I'd much rather spend that money on making a lot more power than that. Because when it's all said and done, my inline six, I want to turbo or supercharge it. And basically, I want to beat up on stock or mildly modded 5-liter Mustangs. The thing is, when I'm done, if it outruns my convertible, then I know that, okay, cool, that's my goal, right, for the car. It's not, you know, it's not a big goal, but considering I will have to at least double the horsepower out of that stock engine to do that. I already know that, even with how light that car is, because early 4Is are the lightest Mustangs ever made. I mean, depending on the exhaust, actually, because that inline six sounds like a 302, and it sounds amazing, actually. It's got a really good baritone noise, but that's because of the H-pipe I put in it and the Thrush turbo mufflers. It does have a dual exhaust on it, although stock manifold. So there's that. I should really clean myself up. Like, look at this. Oh, God. And you know what? Let's actually do that really quick. So I'm just gonna grab a paper towel and quite a bit of fast orange here. There we go. Just clean my hands up a little, my arms and stuff. That's the one thing about, like, this fast orange, it works pretty good, but, oh God, it just feels like sandpaper when you put it on. There we go, now I have quite the mustache. Just want to get some of that fast orange in there, and then it's as simple as wiping it off. Oh God, that hurts. There we go. No more mustache. There we go. That's better anyways. It's not good, it's better. So well, girls like us do exist out there. Some of us are gay, like I am, but others are straight and, you know, always willing to, scared to get grease on her. See, yeah, that's, the thing is with me, I don't mind it. Like, don't get me wrong. Sometimes I wish I was a little cleaner, but, whatever. The problem is, you're working on cars, you can't really be clean, so I normally just say screw it. I will have my days where I dress up and be really clean and stuff like that, but if I'm working on a car, that's not that day. Although I have worked on my car and dress, so I do have that on many girls out there. And doing the, see, that's fair. I mean, the one thing is, if she gets a nice, clean Fox body, she doesn't really have to work on it. But saying that, a nice clean Fox body is very expensive nowadays. So the beater ones, like, you could still find $500, $1,000 like Fox bodies, but they're few and far between nowadays. You know, a lot of those need a ton of work. Like when I bought my car for a steal when I first got it, the inline six Mustang back in 2019. For how much was that? I bought that thing for, it was $500. And then like it barely ran. Like it had so many date-coded parts on it. Like I was surprised the thing even ran. Because even the spark plugs were date-coded to 81. It just blew my mind when I saw that. I'm like, wow, this thing really hasn't been touched. So, which means it needed everything. And also, we have this thing called out-of-province inspections up here, and it needed one because it was never registered. Oh, there you go. And yeah, like, that's the one thing. Yeah, because... See, like, and don't get me wrong, a turbo borrow would be cool, but let me just see. Oh, my pockets are empty. Because to be honest, I don't have the money to do a swap like that. I would love to do a swap like that, but I don't have the money for it. Like, I'll build out the inline 6 because actually it'll be cheaper in the end, and I'll make under 300 horsepower, but it'll work just fine. Because yeah, like I said, my only goal for that car is to beat this car in a drag race. Which, with a T5 with 373s, with forced induction, with 600 pounds less weight, it could probably do it. See, Coyotes are cool. And to be honest, if I was going to do a Coyote, I technically wouldn't do... I mean, I would do a Coyote, but not your typical Coyote. I'd put a Voodoo in it. That would be the Coyote that I'd want, because the flat plate and crank, it's just, there's something about that sound. Oh, that sounds amazing. And plus, you have, I think, what is it, 520 horsepower in those? Like, good amount of power. You have that very unique sound. And it's just, it's such a dirty noise, and I love it. See, a carb Coyote, I don't know if I've seen a carbureted Coyote. That's interesting. See, I mean, and Coyotes are a great engine, to be honest. They're just freaking massive because of the 4 overhead cams, right? See now, and I should send him a text to see if he's coming back in here. Oh, there he is. Yeah, he scares me because, he's just staring through the window at me instead of coming into the shop because I'm live on YouTube and he's just being a weirdo. I missed. Damn it! You're not on film right now. It's fine. Get your ass in here. No. Do it. Oh, he's hiding now. He's hiding now. There's my buddy Keith. You can see him. See, they're telling you to quit being shy. That's fine. I was waiting for you to get back in here because I cleaned the gasket surface quite a bit. It's not perfect, but it's damn close. Right? Like, there's a lot that I did on that. I worked on that, no joke, because I was live on here for about 45 minutes and still wasn't perfectly clean yet. But a lot of that is just kind of stuck on there, right? Like, that's what I was noticing, and it doesn't really come up. But you feel the surface, and it feels relatively flat. There's just a couple of areas that don't, but those areas are kind of just areas where it's a little chopped up a little bit, but that's normal for those spots though too, so it's not too bad. But anyways, now that he's back in the shop, because I was waiting for him, I will end this little live here. So I definitely appreciate you all for coming out here as well. And yeah, Brent, if you want to message me about those heads, that'd be fantastic. I would absolutely love to work with you on those. But yeah, anyways, I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did know, please like the video and share it with friends, the stuff, all that, whatever. And have yourselves a pleasant evening, and I will catch you later. Bye!